Welcome, Julie. What are the challenges facing the leaders of today and how are they different from the past?
They relate to the complexity and pace of change that leaders are being asked to deal with. We've always known about large-scale external system shocks and the potential risk on leaders and their organisations. But that's a real reality now, given the connectivity that we have globally, the way that technology has changed. You think of big data, you think of mobility. And so leaders of today are dealing with an environment around the markets, around geopolitical forces, consumers, a different context in society that leaders had to deal with in the past.
What do you think are the key characteristics of a successful leader in these uncertain times?
The capacity to adapt, so it's having an adaptive mindset and the ability to iterate and change in real time. So what we're seeing with leaders that are successful and are navigating large-scale structural change or driving it themselves is that they're not wedded to one way of doing it. They realise that in complex systems and complex change like we're in, one person doesn't have the answer. So they draw on the broader system and the broader community around them. Quite often they're sense makers, so they have the capacity to translate vast amounts of information, synthesise it quickly and translate it into a form that a large group of people can understand. So they're visionary, they're strategic, and they have the capacity to engage buy-in with diverse stakeholders to bring them with them.
How can I become a leader of today?
So the steps would be interrogate how you think and how you see the world. The second piece would be seek out people who are or who appear to be thinking and leading in the way that you'd like to learn how to do. Seek out complex initiatives to work on, so disruptive projects where you can learn in real time how to lead without the certainty of the boundaries and the risk frameworks that most organisations put around things, which are counterproductive to disruptive innovation. But if you think about where we're heading as a society, we need to be able to embrace disruptive innovation as a competitive advantage. So it's a core competency that leaders need to develop.
How is this new style of leadership affecting our collective future?
So I think what we need to be looking at is how do we find ways of bringing people who have the capacity to catalyse large-scale transformational change to the fore. How do we actually learn to recognise them? And then how do we create the environment within our companies where they can actually thrive and do what they do, as opposed to trying to be squeezed into the cultural box and the norms that most organisations want their people to be within.